So tonight is Global Vision Night. And just a few weeks ago, my daughter, Jacquelyn, let's give her a hand. She is here with us here today. She went to Liberia on a medical mission trip. So those who didn't see her for about a week and a half, we're here at church. That's where she was. She was a long way away in Africa. That's where Liberia is. And we're going to get a little deep into that here in a moment, a little deeper into that. But tonight, especially, we really want to focus on broadening our vision. Tonight, we're starting with global vision. Next Wednesday, we're going to be doing local vision and kind of letting you know where those who give into Door Church, those who may be watching online, you're giving, what we believe, and where your giving goes. We're going to be letting you know what all has been accomplished throughout this year at Door Church by people who participate in our vision for our city and part of our mission, which is to make a difference. So when you give, it goes in places, and you're going to see that next Wednesday, amen, what we have done throughout the years thus far. Now, we do have a little bit of the year left, and so we still plan to give that. We could have left those lights off. It's okay. But tonight specifically, we want to go into our global vision, okay? So we are here with Jacquelyn Saavedra. So Jackie, for those who may not know you, which I think everyone does, but just in case they don't, those who are watching online, give us a little synopsis of who you are.
My name is Jackie Saavedra, for those who don't know me. I grew up in this church. We started it back in 2014. Mm-hmm. I was 9 when we first came here. So a majority of my life was spent here. I am currently an EMT working for my medic, so I can work in flight, hopefully. But I currently work in the ER, so that's the way.
And so Jackie, as you know, she's my daughter, my beautiful daughter. And she's worked very hard in the medical field. It's always been something in Jackie's mind that she's always wanted to be part of a medical team, and more specifically, part of a medical mission, right? When did that start?
So I would say around 12 was whenever I wanted to do something missionary work. And at the time, I didn't know what that meant, like whether it was to actually literally move across the world and start a church, or to use the gifts God has given me to use it somewhere overseas. I didn't know what that meant exactly. I just knew for sure I wanted to go to Africa. I didn't know what God had in store quite yet, but it's always been in me to want to travel and help people across, outside of the borders of the U.S.
Okay, and so you said gifts that God has given you. Can you kind of highlight one of the gifts that contribute to something like this? What is the one specifically?
I mean, like, I work in medicine and in emergency medicine, to be exact, but I think just like it definitely is a gift. I didn't see it as a gift because it just came naturally, but I've been told that it's sort of like not everyone can do emergency medicine or working with healthcare and things like that, so I would say God has blessed me with that. And also I would say personable skills and things like that, that it takes a lot of outgoingness to do something like this, to try to learn people's stories and sit with them and to empathize, those kind of gifts that I think every Christian is gifted with, like the ability to empathize, to listen, to have compassion, things like that. But.
Right. And I know just looking at your record, some of your gifts is exhortation, encouraging people, and helping people out, healing. Another gift that God has given, and healing is not only just praying for people who are sick, but also anyone that you encounter. If someone feels down or broken or hurting or distressed in any way, shape, or form, someone who has the gift of healing, a lot of them are in the medical side of things. Doctors, nurses, EMT, they have a gift of healing. And so when someone like that goes to you, there's an automatic healing virtue that flows from them that God has put in them. And so there's those qualities that are in you that have brought you to that point. At 12 years of age, did anyone tell you, listen, you should join the mission, a medical mission, and go into nursing or medical or whatever?
No, because it's, in middle school, it was sort of like you have to plan your life, and I was the type to be like, I have to have this by this age, this, blah, blah, blah. But then whenever I discovered medicine, I was like, that's exactly where I want to be. Like, not only helping people at their lowest time in life or like the scariest moment in their life, but also being there to just sit and listen, you know, because a lot of times, like even at the ER here in the US, it's like if you sit with the patients, yeah, sometimes you could become impatient with them because it's like there's other people who are sick, like really, really sick, but it's like all they need is just an ear and someone to empathize, be like, yeah, today probably is the worst day for you. I'm sorry, like, you know, the amount of times I got to pray with people or even like witness, and they're like basically saying they've never experienced something like that in the hospital and something like that. Like just being able to also share not only like the physical side of help and like, you know, all that, but also spiritual side, and even like making someone smile. Like someone the other day was like, I haven't smiled, I've been crying all day, and when you walked in, I just like you were the first person to make me smile today, so I really appreciate that. And like just those small things, like maybe I'm not a doctor quite yet, but like just helping them in the small moment that I get to encounter them. But
Yeah, and it's all part of the gift that God has given you to make somebody smile. That's healing virtue, that you make somebody, you heal their heart. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2 is kind of highlights these next Wednesdays that are coming up. It says these words, "And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that reads it." And what we want to do tonight is make our vision plain on Global Vision. This is what we invest in and what we want to invest in as a church. Okay, this is not just about Jackie going to a place, but she represented Dumas. And what is the company or the people that you partnered with to go?
I went through Lighthouse Medical Mission. So it's the headquarters are in Santa Monica, California, and the doctor is Dr. Bob Hamilton. He's a pediatrician.
Okay, so on your team, how many were on your team total?
I would say 25 to 30, and we were split into 2 clinics. So since we had a huge team, we were able to take over 2 sides of the city, and one was in a more, I would say, less developed part of the city. The other was by a more, in comparison, it would have been considered less developed, but it was more the higher income people.
Yeah.
But it was a school. It was a Christian school.
Okay, and
Yeah.
so how many, can you explain who was on the team? Doctors, what kind of doctors?
So they have a core team of pediatricians. So there was 2 pediatricians. There was 1 cardiothoracic surgeon. There was 2 nurse practitioners and a couple nurses. And then everyone else was just volunteers in the church who wanted to go help out. So.
Okay, was there an optometrist?
There wasn't an optometrist, but there was someone who specialized in reading glasses. So it's like those dollar store glasses that you would see at like Dollar Tree or like in the little carousels that we pass by, but those really make a difference in all of those school kids and everything like that.
And so what would you say on a daily, when you were there, first of all, what did you expect before you got there, had no frame of reference to Liberia or the people or the culture? What did you expect before you went?
I really had zero expectation. I didn't know I just knew it was really underdeveloped. I was told by the supply list, like mosquito nets, you had to have sheets, like pretty much bring a mini house with you. And then also we were told to like read up on Liberia. So I guess I knew going in that they had just come out of a war. So that, of course, leads to recession after. So they were really struggling, income, families. Families were still living out the effect of like losing family members, losing businesses, losing jobs from that war. So that's pretty much my frame of reference when I first went in.
Okay, and so you expected kind of what you read about, right?
Yeah.
So what did you experience?
So that's a loaded question, because when we first got there, it's nothing like the U.S., obviously, but once they found out that we had a free clinic at these 2 places, immediately, I don't know if there's pictures of the line, but there was crowds surrounding the churches that we were based out of, and it was sort of like a desperation from them. It wasn't like, you know how the U.S., we have lines and we have direction, like this is where you're going to go, triage, you sign in here, blah, blah, blah. But basically, the first day of clinic, it was sort of the one who was mentoring me, she was like, go out there and find me the sickest people. And I was like, how are you going to tell me to go out there? And these people are throwing their babies at me because they're frail. they're not eating enough, and then the moms aren't eating enough, and it's sort of just like there's someone literally dying on the steps. Like, how do I triage these people? Because I feel like I would never, I won't feel fulfilled. I feel like I'm constantly leaving someone out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was sort of a just eye-opening to see the desperation, because even people who wanted simple wellness checkups, they were trying to barge the doors down. And at first, something that they told us was that you will see a desperation, and you will also become frustrated because of that desperation. And they know that it at some point it's going to end, that the doors are going to close and y'all aren't going to be here anymore. So we definitely saw that progression throughout the week of very combative people and very angry people. And at first it's like, well, we're here to help you, like, why are you getting mad at us? Why are you being frustrated? But when they sort of grounded us and were like, they don't have free access like you do. Or like, if you want reading glasses, they can't just go to the dollar store down the street. Like, all these things, a lot of times they showed up 7 in the morning and waited all the way until we closed, and would literally wait there hours and hours sitting in the hot sun. And in our clinic, it was about 95 degrees, so I can't imagine how hot it was out there. And they were just basically, the desperation was the huge experience for me, and just realizing how good we have it here and the opportunities. Even the people here who may think like, I'm going through a slump, like, our low is their high. You know what I'm saying? Like, the ability to go out and get fast food. Like, some people spent their money to buy us gifts, and that was their dinner money,
So explain that. So some people spent their money to buy you gifts or to make you gifts. Did they make their gifts? Or?
Yes. So I did help this one lady who was out in the sun. She was sitting there. I went to the restroom, and it was sort of like we had to have a chaperone, because a lot of times they would chase you down and be like, take my baby in, please. Like, so we would have to be walked to the restroom. It was outside. Use a bucket and everything. It wasn't like regular restrooms here. And so as I was coming back, this lady was hunched over. She was diaphoretic, like very sweaty, out of breath. She was very sick. And so I was like, well, let me at least bring this one. And that's sort of the mentality I put in my head. It was like, at least this one, make an impact with this one. And that's what they taught us, was if you can make an impact on just one person, like, it doesn't have to. It was actually that lady on the other side that was on this video. Her name was Miss Evelyn. And so I somehow got her in, because it's like you had to fight to get in the clinic again. And so we got her checked up, her medicine, everything, sent her on her way. And then once you start doing that, it's like they feel they have a connection, right? And I definitely felt like I had a connection. But then she was like, can you please, like, they're banging on the windows because they're barred, right? So they're banging on the windows, reaching in. Can you please let my husband in, Jackie? Like, they're calling me by name from outside. And I was like, oh, God, like, I don't know how to say no. Like, you feel like a villain if you say no. But they're banging on the doors, and I was just moved. I was like, I just need to, at least this one man, like, even if it's a wellness checkup, like, just get him in. So I somehow, like, with help of the people who were helping us outside, they got him inside and checked out both of them, got their medicine, sent them on their way. And I looked at them, I was like, will I see you at church tonight? Because we were having revival at that Baptist church that we were out of, which is right here. And so they were like, yes, we'll see you tonight. And so sure enough, they showed up, and we were handing out little Bibles. They showed up with their little Bibles and ready to go to church. And I was just like, that was enough for me. And then, like, that was a gift enough for me, like, to freely go to church. And, like, I was able to bring them in. It was God through me, not me. But then she came up to me and was like, Jackie, like, pulled me aside. She started crying. She was like, I want you to know that I'm a seamstress, and I spent time. I want you to know that every time you wear this, you have a sister in Liberia. You helped my family so much. And she gave me a hand-sewn dress that she had just made, and it was specifically for me. And, like, the fabrics are very expensive for them. So it's nothing like the U.S. Like, you can go and buy a piece of clothing at Walmart or anything like that, but it literally is their salary to get that outfit, that material. And I was like, you shouldn't have spent it on me. She's like, no, you deserve it. you helped us in, you saved us, and thank you for sharing Jesus. You're my sister now. You have a sister here in Liberia. And I'm like, I broke down. Every single person who talked to me, like I was like, you thought of me enough to come and spend your hard-earned money that is hard to come by anyway, and hand make me a dress and say how much I mean to you. Like, that's all I needed when I went. So it was amazing.
And so what we saw here is what's amazing is that Liberia is 51% is estimated to be in poverty level, which is 4.5 million people living in poverty in Liberia. And poverty is not what we think poverty is here, right? Poverty to here, if whoever is in the most poverty here is, in comparison to Liberia, you're in the 1% rich. So when you compare it to Liberia, the poverty level over there is the wages that they make in a month is what we would make in a day. Okay? And so what you have to understand is the gratitude that was given when this dress was made for Jackie on a poverty level, it was their salary that for the expression of the time that was given. It's safe to say that a lot of Americans are entitled. We have it hard. No, you don't. You don't have it hard. We got benefits, right? We got jobs. We got Social Security. We got these folks actually live in shanty towns, right? How many have electricity?
Not like at nighttime. It was pitch black. There was
pitch
nothing.
Black. Yeah. So there's no security. If you saw one of the vans that were kind of going in the beginning of this ride here, explain the van ride. This was from the airport to your hotel, right? You're being escorted by police. Did you guys see that on the video? Thank you, Victor. You saw it on the video? Okay. The video of the vans that were driving there and the police. Explain that. Was that just a VIP treatment?
No, it was not VIP treatment. It was for protection because at nighttime the peril is extremely bad, especially because the poverty level, it's sort of just, once you're out at nighttime, you're free range, you know. And so those vans were very high class. So those vans that we see around all the time, but that was a high class vehicle for them. And so we got the escort because of how bad it was at nighttime, the danger.
So yeah, the danger level, that's why the police were out, not because they're VIPs from America. That's the level, that's kind of where they were. So tell me about the hours that you worked per day. What was the rough average?
So we left around 8, and every single day we would have to set up our clinic because we would have to, the pastor of the Baptist church would actually stay the night every night to protect our equipment in the church. He would lay right in the sanctuary floor, and it's hard floor, like tile, and he told us, I'm staying here every single night because the medicine that we had there was so valuable that people were trying. He was telling us that there was people with evil intentions, is what he told us. And so he would stay there, him and his church congregants, a couple of them would stay. And so that was the church there.
Having church. Look at that.
They're having church.
Hey.
Oh, that was Miss Evelyn. So, yeah.
And so approximately how long throughout the day?
Let me think. So we left around 8, and then we would close roughly around 5. So 8 to 5.
So about 8 to 5. About how many people would you see from 8 to 5?
Ooh, that's a good question. So in total, I said 1,600 throughout the week. So, and that was between our 2 clinics. And so you can divide that into each day. But I would say roughly about, someone want to do the math for me? 250, that's what it was. Okay, 250 a day. Yes.
A day. And so 250 people a day. Now you work in the ER.
Yeah.
So can you compare that? Give us kind of a comparison. Do you know about the amount per day in our ER in America versus Liberia?
So I can use this week for the frame of reference because it was chaotic. Monday night, we reached a max of 164. Yeah, and that was our busy night. So our max capacity in the ER is 84, plus we had 80 walk-ins. So that much was our max.
So
here
to give
in
you
the
a
US.
frame of reference, right?
Yeah.
From our ER to an 8 to 5 hour shift there is double. Easily said, double. So how many workers, what are you talking about? Workers here in the U.S. or?
ER, I mean, we have 4 pods, and there's about 4 to 5 nurses in each pod, 5, 10, 15, 20, plus 13, 14, 15, 16. I don't know. Like, roughly, I would say 30. So there was, like, it's a good range throughout the ER. Like, it's rarely short-staffed there. So 5 nurses per each pod, 20 easily. So close to 30 staff, I would say.
Wow.
And then they could always call in people. So it's sort of like our short-staffed wasn't that short-staffed.
Well, plus the technology, plus the other things around, and many things that we have in America that they do not have there, right? And so what was the person that traveled the longest to go see you guys? What was the longest they've traveled?
5 hours.
5 hours?
Yeah, in public transportation. And so that is all their income as well, to even travel that distance on public transport. So. 5
hours to go to clinic that they're providing to help them out. What was the issue with that person, do you know?
She had just been having, I mean, a lot of them have pains, body pains, just simple, like ibuprofen to us is what they wanted from our clinic. And so it was just basic things like that. She had trouble with her eyesight as well.
Wow.
I believe that was the one that Mimi, our nurse practitioner, had prayed for. And so that was a miracle in itself. So she had been there for ibuprofen body pains, but then she also mentioned, as she was talking to Mimi, who was our nurse prac, she was like, I have pain in my eye, and I haven't been able to see. And so Mimi even confessed, she was like, I was sort of done. It was the end of the day. Like, I was exhausted because they were pumping them out, you know, like doing their best. And then it takes a lot physically, but also spiritually, because they're praying with every single person, and so they're just drained. And so, that was the line to the clinic. But so she was praying with her. She was like, well, we don't have anything for eyesight. We're not optometrists. I can't do eye surgery on you. There's really nothing we can do. Like, she basically said that to the girl. And she's like, the most I can do is pray for you. And the woman is like, well, yeah, that's why I came, because you said that on the radio, because they somehow got on the Liberian radio and announced that we were going to be there, and all those people showed up.
Yeah.
So then she was like, that's exactly why I came. You said you were going to pray. And so she was like, oh, okay. And so she bowed her head, and at first, like, she was like, okay, let's test it out. She covers the bad eye accidentally. And so she's like, can you see? She's like, well, yeah, that's my good eye. Like, I can see out of this eye. She's like, it's a miracle. But then she was like, no, that's my good eye. Like, I've been able to see. And so she covers this other eye. And at first there was nothing, and then she's talking to her translator, like, and so finally the lady, she was like, wait, I can see those children outside the window. And she was like, what? Like, and she's like, I see them playing. They're playing with the soccer ball outside the window. And so just like that, like, and it was end of clinic day, like, we were about to close, and she somehow got in.
And so how many people, the people that came in, not only did they receive some practical medical treatment, but there was also a witness, there was also prayer, there's also salvation that was involved, right?
Yes.
Were you guys doing that intermittently throughout the triage, or was there somebody
like
there, like, here it is, I'm sure what is she doing there?
She's praying. That's Mimi.
Mimi?
Yeah, so every chance you got, you would be able to sit there and pray with people. Even with the babies, a lot of the moms are like, they would have time to sit there because it was fast moving, but there was a wait time, obviously. So I just did my best to sit there and be present, because I was like, what they told us, we had a huddle every morning, and they would say that Jesus didn't see problems to fix, he saw people to embrace. And so I adopted that mindset to be like, these aren't just sick people. This isn't my ER job where we have endless resources. Like, these people need firsthand, like, the love of God. Like, a lot of them don't have access to anything, and if all I can give them is the love of God, that's what I'm going to give them. And so just sitting there with them and learning their story, and, like, even one, she said she was going to name her baby after me just because I was sitting there and talking with her. I cried again. I was like, I'm not even a crybaby.
Jack
But she was like, baby Jacquelyn, and I was like, oh my God. But yeah, so every chance you get, you would pray with them, because that's what they pushed. Our doctors were like, yes, we treat the ones who God can heal. So that's what they said.
So I know this is kind of a loaded question as well, but as concise as you can make it, what stood out to you in this trip, in this experience, what stood out to you the most?
I'm going to pull out my notes. I did write about that one. So throughout my stay there, I wrote just small things throughout that I wanted to remember. Let me see. One of the major takeaways was the more they squeeze, the more Jesus should come out of you. So this was, yes, it was rewarding, but it was also very, I can't think of the word. It's not frustrating, but it's very demanding. Yeah, it's a lot of under a lot of pressure, and the ability to still show Jesus under the hard circumstances, because we're seen as a glimpse of hope and like a small portion of America, of freedom. And so what one of the pastors told us was, the more they squeeze, the more they try to demand from you, to make you angry, or to get mad at you, all those things, the more Jesus should flow out of you. And so there was that. And then another one was, I can read it here.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. One of the days I wrote, "Today I saw the multitudes. I walked in the crowd trying to decide who was the most sick to come in. I was surrounded and even overpowered, being pulled left and right. Babies were being pushed onto me. And then I remembered Jesus healed the multitudes. I'm humbled that I was entrusted to be the representation and hands and feet of him. Not saying that we are the healers, but we treat those who God heals. I kept praying to God, saying that I was tired of the misrepresentation of him to people, and now I see that he trusted me to be that representation to people who were desperate and have no alternative." So that was one of the main things. Was like here in the U.S., I hate seeing the misrepresentation of what Christianity is. And this church is great at like being hands and feet, and like we can complain, but we also can, like you tell us, be the light, be the change. So this was that opportunity that, we all have the opportunity to be the hands and feet of God, and show people that it's real, and show the truth of it. And then another major takeaway was singing The Goodness of God that we sang tonight. So that song has a completely different meaning for me now. So one of the songs they sang was Goodness of God. And then also, He didn't have to do it, but He did. There was a hymn that they kept singing over and over. It was very humbling. They're saying that they're doing better than what they deserve. And I felt like immense wave of conviction and gratitude, because the same people who were wanting to be seen for basic medical attention showed up for church and praised Jesus as if they were living their answered prayer.
Wow.
And so all those, them getting down in church, all those people had attended our clinic for some sort of pain, some sort of medical attention, but they were living as if God had answered their prayer already, and as if they're doing better than what they deserve. There was 2 nurses who had volunteered to help us in the clinic from Liberia, and so I didn't know that they were attendees of the church. And so later that night, I saw them singing up there. They were singing Goodness of God, and voices of angels, like amazing. And so I was just crying because I was told their story that because of the war, a lot of them had lost their jobs. They were basically doing volunteer work everywhere. So their nursing job, it wasn't viable. They lost all their money, all their jobs, while supporting their parents, their kids, and their grandkids. So while all of that was going on, like, that's a bad day. That's a bad, very bad circumstance. And while all that's going on, I would have never guessed, because as they're singing and worshiping, they're singing the goodness of God. And all my life, you've been faithful. And then with every breath I'm able, I will sing the goodness of God. And like, it was just the most anointed worship that I've ever heard. And just hearing all the choir, like, all these people have less than what we have, but an immense joy that sometimes is lacking here in the U.S. Like, sometimes we come in with bad days, and that's sort of what I had to switch to, because I was like, yeah, I have bad days, but it could be worse. I have my family, I have my church family, I have my church here. I'm able to go to school. I'm able, yeah, sometimes my job is frustrating, but like the other day I was like, well, thank you, God, for giving me the opportunity to be tired from my job, because I have one, like, just things like that, the small things that you don't think of. But it was just something, if I can give y'all anything, just live as if you're living in your answered prayer and have that joy that God can give you, because it's amazing seeing the two contrasts in a third world country versus first world. And
Right.
we're so blessed, and sometimes I don't want to say entitlement of the US, but just the lack of perspective of how good we have it here, I think is what really changed my perspective.
And so, to add to that, that was going to be my last question. If you could tell anybody anything from this experience that don't have the perspective that you now have, what would it be?
So, one of the sermons that our pastors, he was a pastor and a doctor, so he was double drained at clinic. So he taught us to invest in things that will outlive you in this world. So like this will outlive me because it's not me, right? There's been people on the team who were impacted 25 years ago from this medical mission, and who were actually on the team now. And so it outlived those people. He told us, invest in things that will outlive you in this world. And the nighttime represents your time to act coming to a close, so spend your time and your days wisely. And he also told us that the greatest tragedy is not death, but it's dying without purpose. So all those things I adopted in my stay here. And I was like, I don't want it to be about me. Like even tonight, like yes, I did go, but anybody else could do the same exact thing. Like it's not about me. It was God-given. Like I do not take any responsibility, any credit for what happened there, because I feel like I left more blessed than what we blessed them with, you know? Like the stories, the fulfillment, I feel like it poured more into me than I poured out there, basically. So, and anybody here can do it.
And in Matthew chapter 25, verse 37, it says, "Then the righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you to drink? When did we see you a stranger and take you in, or naked and clothe you? Or when did we see you sick or in prison and come to you?" And the king will answer and say to them, "Surely I say to you, inasmuch as you did it, one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me." And so, Jackie, we're very proud of you for going and representing our church, and for the people who are here, because we believe in this. Tonight is Global Vision Night. We are going to be partnering with Lighthouse Medical and be contributing, which was the mission trip that Jackie went on. And we're going to be giving from our church to fund that medical mission every year. So we're going to be giving to that as a church, because we believe in global vision. And so I want you to bear that in mind when we give. It's more than just, well, mine don't matter. Well, someone else will give. No. When you give, we are aiming to make a difference globally. What was done here will be remembered for all eternity. In fact, it's an eternal principle that God says that the kingdom of heaven is going to be like this, that you're going to, when I was sick, you clothed me. When I was in prison, you visited me. When I was hungry, you fed me. God's bringing this into an eternal perspective for us to understand. It's not just going out of your way to do something for somebody. No, this is going to be recorded in the heavenly realm. And it's going to be displayed and brought to our attention in eternity. That God holds this very, very near and dear to his house and to his heart. And so we're going to be partnering, our church, Door Church Dumas, will be partnering with Lighthouse Medical and sending them what we can send them every year to fund this medical mission. And what other places do they go?
So in April, I believe they're going to Guatemala. And then April, or in June, no, not June. In October again, they're going to go to Africa. I think they're wanting to make Monrovia or Liberia. Monrovia was the main city that we went to. They want to make that a normal just because of the lack of resources. There's about 200K plus people and only 6 doctors in that area. Right. And so
they go more places than just here. And so they always need funding. And listen, we believe in it. We believe in it. This is our world mission that we want to do. So we're going to be partnering with Lighthouse Medical and doing what we can do to help them. So let's give her a hand. Thank you so much, baby girl. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Let me think. Oh, to everyone here, you all have gifts, and I know y'all took the gifts test, everything, and something that our pastor was telling us, who much is given, much is required. So if you're not using those gifts, you know, I don't know, you're not taking full advantage of what God has given to you, and that's required of you. So if you have the gift of healing, if you have the gift of exhortation, all the other gifts that we've taught or that we've learned from Pastor here, if you're not using those are what's being required of you that God has entrusted you with. So that's about it.
Yeah, step on it, get in it, and you watch God fulfilling purpose. Just like the doctor said, fulfill a purpose. Everyone here has a purpose. And so if you can't go, or if you can't, we give for those who can go. Okay, we pray for those who do go. And so we appreciate it very, very much. Let's give Jackie a hand one more time. I'm going to ask my wife to come up here. And she's going to talk as we close at the end of this. What most of you might be wondering, what this is on my right here. My wife is going to explain what that is. We're entering in again the month of giving, and so we're real happy with this as well.
Yes.
Here at Door Church, we love giving, and so go ahead.
So I'm excited. That was beautiful, baby girl. That was amazing. Because it is Global Vision Night, we are going to partner. I'm just going to read some of my notes. That way I don't mess it up. But as we head into the Christmas season, and being that tonight is Global Vision Night, we have a wonderful opportunity to share God's love in a very tangible way. We're partnering with Samaritan's Purse and their ministry, Operation Christmas Child. So what this is Operation Christmas Child sends shoebox gifts like this, packed with toys, school supplies, hygiene items to children in need all around the world. But more than that, it's a powerful tool for the gospel. Each child who receives a shoebox also hears the message of God, and that God loves them, and that Jesus is the greatest gift of all. So how this is going to work is we started off with 10 shoeboxes. This doesn't have to stop here, but we started with 10. And what we do is we're going to pick, you get a shoebox, and you will receive this label right here, and you're going to fill it out. It's going to be a boy, a girl, ages 2 through 14 years old, okay? And then you'll fill it. After you fill it, you'll include items. You'll include a one wow item. Like when they open it, it's like, wow, like a soccer ball that they can air up, a baby doll for the little girls, things like that. One wow item. We have all the ideas to give you, so don't panic. I'll be able to give you all that information. Then you're going to pray. You're going to pray over this shoebox, because this is sharing the love of God all around the world. This is Global Night, and these go globally. This is not just here in the States. These get shipped out overseas to children everywhere. So you're going to pray, and you're going to also track your box to the child and when they receive it. Then you're going to return it to me. After you fill it, after you pray for it, you'll return it back here to the church on November 19th, Wednesday, November 19th, because I drop it off November 20th, okay? We'll send these boxes to the collection center, and from there they'll travel across the world into the hands of children who may never have received gifts before. Okay, and then once again, we're going to take pictures of all the QR codes so that way you can scan it, track your box. It's important to note that we promise 10 boxes, okay? So please do not take a box if you have no intention to fill it, okay? If you cannot fill the box, but you'd like to contribute, they do cost around $20, $25 to fill. We can take that. You could give to community outreach. It's on our app. Or you could give in the giving station, and we could fill the box for you if that helps. If you cannot, it's okay. Whatever you can contribute, put that in the giving station, and we'll make sure it goes to filling one of these boxes. So please count the cost before grabbing one. But it's so rewarding. It is so rewarding to give. This small act of kindness can have an eternal impact. So let's come together as a church family to bring joy, hope, and the love of Jesus to the children across the globe this Christmas. That is Operation Christmas Child.
Yes. And so who are we partnering with?
This is Samaritan
Samaritan's Purse,
Yeah,
right?
Samaritan's
so
Purse.
Samaritan's Purse is where we're partnering with, and this is done by the Billy Graham
Yes,
Association.
Billy Graham.
So we've linked up with them as well to participate in this. These are going to be sent internationally, and so the kids that are getting this, much like these young children in this picture, a jump rope will set them for a year. You'll be surprised. Things that we just like, oh no, we won't. They are blown away. And what's cool about this is you can track your box where it goes. You're also encouraged to put a picture of yourself, right?
Yes, a picture and a note from you so they know who sent it. And
In the
also,
box.
yeah, in the box. But also hygiene items, like, can you
Yeah.
imagine a toothbrush? Like, things like that. Like, simple things that we just take for granted or just, like, buy in bulk and then throw it in the drawer. It's treasured to them.
And so what an opportunity, guys, for $20, $25 to fill this box. As my wife did say, please, if you're going to do this, then commit to it because they are expecting 10 back. And so if you don't, we've got to put in more to make that promise legit and valid. Okay, so if you want to grab a box, you can grab one as a family and fill it out as a family and track your box to what child it goes to, which is really cool. And they open it up for Christmas.
Yeah, you could grab it as a family. You can even go in two families. That's $10 per family.
Yeah.
Single people, if there's all the single people in here, could do $5 a piece and make one box together.
One box.
Take a group picture, say we're praying for you, write a note, something like that. So we can make this happen. It's 10 boxes. I'm
Come
so
on.
excited.
Can we do it?
And it's
Can we do it?
Global Vision Night.
Yes.